Hi everyone. So today we'll talk about this article editorial in the today's introduced newspaper. This is regarding the Israel-Palestine ongoing conflict, and this talks about what happened in the past 20-30 days in the conflict and a little history about how the conflict has shaped up with the number of agreements between the two parties involved, and also talks about the stance of the Arab world, the West, and the stance of our country, India. So let's start this topic. The Israel Hamas current ongoing conflict, it is said to have started on October 7th when the militant group Hamas attacked on Israel on the neighboring areas of Israel attached to the Gaza Strip, which is a small strip on the western part of the Israel. And so Hamas attacked in which about 1,200 people were killed and several were injured, including many innocent lives of women, children, and elderly. So it was a brutal terror attack. So on upon which Israel also made counterattacks. So since then the counterattacks and the conflict is going on. So, but all of this, the editor here talks about that the cause of the Palestinian for a separate state or for a separate region does not make it less justified. Israel, according to the author, the Israel should have ideally withdrawn from the occupied land in the West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem in return for the peace. So there were also several agreements between Israel and the Palestine in the 2017 Charter of Hamas to accept a two-state solution. The two-state solution is a separate Israel and Palestine state with good relations between them, no firing, no conflict between them. So a two-state solution can alone bring peace. A one-state solution is a no-state non-solution. So Israel also understandably cannot let Hamas terror go unchallenged. So they also inflicted many bombings on the Gaza region, upon which Palestinian about 8,000 plus Palestinian civilians were killed, and it is said that the children made up to 40% of the casualties. So a dehumanization, this is regarding some people are justifying the attacks on Gaza and the casualties of 8,000 people. They are justifying it, saying that the Hamas is responsible, while Hamas consists of a very small portion of Palestine, and the majority of them are innocent civilians who were killed in the conflict. So what we are realizing is that between the Israel and Hamas, there are people on both the sides, the innocent lives, innocent civilians that are also being killed, and it has the Palestine, the Gaza region. It has now become a ground of humanitarian crisis. Now that the Israel has ordered within 24 hours to leave for more than 1 million Palestinians to leave the Gaza region. So on the Arab here, what is unfolding is human tragedy, killing of thousands of innocent lives, mass displacement of about 1.2 million Palestinians. On the Arab world, they have been sidelining with the Palestine and peace for peace. And there were also several engagements from the Arab world with the Israel we've seen in the past. So it also talks about how the successive governments in Israel have strived to make even more difficult for a two-state solution to exist of Israel and Palestine. It can be said that both the sides are responsible for the ongoing conflict, and even though there have been several agreements, example, this was the agreement is the so-called Kal Chakra moves after the Yom Kippur War of 1973. Then there was Israel-Egypt Camp David Accords in 1978 with the promise of Palestinian self-rule. But nothing happened after this Israel-Egypt Camp David Accords, where Palestinian self-rule, a self-government was promised. Nothing happened. There was also agreement broken out between the Israel and the Palestine, mediated by the US, termed as the Oslo Accords of 1993 and 1995, which made a promise of self-rule through the Palestinian Authority. That is, that this will be working as the government. However, all of these agreements are just on paper. Nothing concrete happened on the ground, and another round of backsliding, violence, and broken promises. Gaza is now widely acknowledged as the largest open air prison. So here we are condemning Hamas, and rightly so, for this terror, but not acknowledge the omission and commission of the past. Such incidents do not occur in a vacuum. So there have been shortcomings on both the sides. Both the sides taking violence as the solution to this problem, which has led to making vulnerable lives of so many civilians on both these sides. So what needs to happen is that both sides need to stop this violence, because you cannot bring peace with violence. So what is India's stance? India has always stood for a two-state solution. India is synced in the Arab world with its normalization with Israel, because Arab world, as I said, they had started maintaining diplomatic relations with Israel. India has made this I2U2, that is India, Israel, UAE, and United States. While we do not have a direct role yet, since it is time the US and the West and the Gulf they showed leadership first. Therefore, it is important for India to come out not just against terrorism, but also more forcefully against the human tragedy playing out in Gaza. In this proximity, the Israel and the US will only be an asset. So what needs to happen is that talks need to be broke out between both the sides. Otherwise, more and more lives would be endangered.